My hairline is
Welcome
stuck.
everybody to the Bush and Me show. On that note,
We talk about my hairline, but for
my
those of you
man,
all who can't see us, he's trying to take a dig at my hairline. I
my
just got
man
it
Bush
cut.
was checking his hair before we counted down, and I told him he's got his LeBron going on. I didn't say Kevin Durant.
I don't know, but easy now. You know my shit laid and wavy now. It do look a little light on up at the top, but don't worry about that. I just got it cut, so don't you worry about that. It'll be nice and full in a few more days.
I'm not one to
Unlike
talk about hair. I'm
Yeah,
not one to talk about hair, but
I was about to say you have
you
been
look a
hair.
little patchy up there.
I
Patch
don't
Adams.
know about Patch Adams now. You're throwing incorrect digs now. I got some Mr. Clean Ball jokes in my
Ah,
repertoire, but I'm not gonna go
there you go.
there.
We'll get started. We're back, Bush and Me. Last week I gave out a video. You know, we couldn't get together last week. I gave out a video. Loved the situational play for the Washington Commanders. They were getting 7 points at home. It was an overlook spot, sandwich spot for the Eagles. They were coming off that primetime game. And then they have Dallas on deck this week coming up. Love that spot for Washington. Halftime was 14-3. I'm going, I'm so smart. Next thing you know, we had to backdoor cover a push because not only did we blow an 11-point lead, we were losing by 14 with a minute 50 left, had to get a backdoor touchdown. So we got a push there if you guys followed that play. Jumping in to this week, trends. Unders are still hitting at a 61% rate. It's a low scoring season. Third lowest scoring season in the last 20 years.
Wow.
Primetime unders are 19-7 this year. That's 73%. A ridiculous rate. Primetime unders are hitting at. That's your Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night games. And home teams. We talked about this earlier in the season, how there's not as much as a home field advantage anymore. Home teams last week were 9-7 straight up. I mean, to me, that's almost 50-50. You're right there. There's no real advantage anymore. Even in some of these places like Lambeau, some of these big places that historically have home field advantage, you're just not seeing it this year. Maybe just the teams aren't as good.
That possibly could be it. You know, when you don't have your excitement like your Aaron Rodgers, some of your other high profile guys out there, you know, sometimes the home field advantage, it doesn't really feel like that anymore. I mean, I remember some games, you know, we would go in and play and the crowd was really a factor. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times are you seeing guys jump off sides, false starts because the crowd is just going crazy, you know? So, yeah, that's an interesting take right there.
Yep, just a couple of trends we had going into this week. Bush, you we didn't get together last week, like I said, so you didn't have any picks last week. But why don't you jump in and start us off this week?
I'm going to start us off.
Two of your teams are playing each other this week.
Let's go ahead, set the stage. Two of them are facing off. Probably, I mean, you know, just being transparent here on the Bush and Me, probably my favorite, obviously, because I'm always talking about them. And I'm going to be in the building to go see my two former teams clash it up. I got to be there.
Love when you're in the building.
You know, I love being in the building. You know, so I'd probably say, you know, this is my favorite former team, probably versus my least favorite former team. Not anything against the guys I played with, maybe some of the coaches, but you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be a super exciting matchup. But I'm not going to get into that one yet.
I'm not trying to dip into your pockets, but it's funny how the team that paid you the most is your least favorite team.
You know, money isn't everything, man. I had a lot of good times in New Orleans. I had a lot of good times. But yeah, listen, I appreciate you know, the lining of my pockets. I appreciate that. All right, now nothing against the guys, nothing against the play. You know, it's just, you know, I think I have a little bit of bitterness, saltiness on my way out, but you know what? At the end of the day, I have a lot of respect for their organization, everybody that we had a chance to play with, and I got a ring in New Orleans, man. It's just a different feeling there, you know. So, so usually each game that I pick is one of my former teams. That's kind of been my theme this year, and probably from here on out. But since two of them are clashing, I have to go in a different route, right? But I think what's really interesting for all three of my picks it's the race to first. Now it's not. It doesn't have to be the race to first in the NFC or the AFC. It could be the race to the first in your division, right? I'm going. My first two picks is the race for the first in your division. Okay. Obviously, I've already talked about the Saints a little bit, but we haven't gotten to the game. Minnesota is playing at Atlanta. They're 4-4. New Orleans is 4-4. Which team is going to continue to go? Is going to continue to ascend? Which team is going to descend? Who is going to take advantage of the opportunity that they have? This game is interesting, though. You got two backup quarterbacks this week. Both teams lost their quarterback. It's unfortunate for Kirk Cousins. He was a guy I really loved to watch, especially. And then I really grew and had more of an appreciation from him after seeing him on that quarterback show, right? Like, you just see who the man is outside of the game. And I think that's really the most interesting thing to me about who these players are. At the end of the day, we're humans. We have families and things that we care about. So I was really kind of taking to Kirk Cousins a little bit, but he's out for the season. That sucks. It is what it is. It's potentially the Jaron Hall show, or Josh Dobbs, because they did just trade for him. I think it would be a little crazy to send Dobbs out there because he does not know the playbook yet.
It doesn't sound like he's going to be ready.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be ready. You would really be just playing outdoor football, backyard football, if you stuck him out there right now. So I think it's going to be the Jaron Hall show versus Taylor Heinicke. Now, Heinicke is a guy who's had some success in this league. He's been to the playoffs, right? He's been in some really close games. He was a guy that, again, I was really drawn to as a backup guy who got his opportunity. You always love that type of story, in the NFL. But it's a next man up mentality. I think the run game, right, is going to be your friend this week. And the Minnesota Vikings struggled horribly last week, right? 2 yards per rush, 2 yards per carry on 30 carries. That's atrocious. Okay, and they won the game. So for me, I just really feel like it's going to be up to the big men. I probably sound like a broken record every time we get on this podcast, but it's really up to the big men this week, right? Which group is going to come together and figure out a way that we can take some pressure off of our quarterback. We have two backup quarterbacks. Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the offensive line? Who's going to be the defensive line that pressures? In this one, I got to give the edge. I hate to say this. To Atlanta. I got to give the edge to Atlanta because I just think experience will win in this one, and they are playing at home. Maybe they do get a little bit of home field. Maybe Jaron Hall is a little bit rattled, but this is a great opportunity for them. I hope they lose, but I just think that Atlanta has a better opportunity to win this game with the backup quarterback that they have. I'm going with Atlanta.
The trend this year has been the quarterback making his first start has been successful. I mean, I saw that. Yeah, you look at Will Levis last week with Tennessee. There was no film on him. He came out, boom, boom, boom. Pulls the upset against Atlanta.
Yep.
So maybe your boy Hawk could do the same thing this week.
Maybe we'll see. Listen, I'm going with Heinicke. I hate to say that I'm even going with the Falcons. No, Heinicke. Listen, I like him. Yeah, I like him. I like him as a player. He is a guy that, if your quarterback goes out for 3-4 weeks, I don't feel bad about plugging a guy like that in. I remember, I will share a quick story. We're playing my first Monday night matchup, Bears, Packers, in Lambeau, right? We talked about Lambeau already. And Jay Cutler went down, right? And I think a series later, Aaron Rodgers went down. So next thing you know, you have the backup quarterback show. Josh McCown came in there and lit it up. Yeah, right. He absolutely lit it up. He fed the ball to Brandon Marshall, Martellus Bennett, Alshon Jeffrey. It was really exciting. We had this guy in there for 6 games. I think he went like 4-2 or 5-1. So, I'm giving the edge to this, but I'm really excited to see this matchup and how Atlanta's going to approach this game.
Yeah. All right. Jumping on to my first game, I'm going to steal your spotlight a little bit here. I did pick one of your games.
Of course you did.
And since this is the 9:30 in the morning game on Sunday, I'm going to start with this one.
Oh, wow.
Chiefs and Dolphins, a great game. Should be a great matchup. Coming to us from Germany. Spread's only 1.5, which is a little fishy, but the Dolphins have been playing well, putting up points. I'm taking the Dolphins on this one. Chiefs are coming off a loss over at Me's Money Moves. We had Denver last week, pulled the upset, and they turned the ball over 5 times. Now listen to this stat. Teams that turn the ball over 5 times or more, the following game are 121 and 157 against the spread. That's 42%. So that lack of capability transitions into the next game. And you have, there's no stat on how many more turnovers they have, but they don't win the next game.
Right.
And that's 20 years of data. So we're looking at a big sample size here. The Chiefs have been known to break some trends, especially with this Patty Mahomes back there. But I just don't think, I think they're a little off sync right now. Another stat for you here that I love to hear. Tua, your boy Tua, is 12-1 against Super Bowl winning head coaches. He's 11-0 in his last 11.
I will say this: he beat Bill Belichick 6 times with the Mac Jones show. I don't know how much that stat counts.
His only loss was against Andy Reid and the Chiefs in 2020. So he'll be looking to right that wrong. I see this as a high-scoring game over in Germany. You don't see a lot of high-scoring games internationally. I don't know if it's the travel or the air over there or what it is, but they tend to be lower scoring. I think this is going to be more of a shootout. I have this being the Dolphins winning outright 31-27.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Them Fins.
Well, this actually, so yeah, you stole a little bit of my shine. You stole a little bit of my light. This is actually my lock of the week.
Ooh.
That's how confident I am in the Dolphins beating the Chiefs in Germany. And can I say this first and foremost? This game being in Germany instead of Kansas City, you are doing a disservice to the NFL fans. This is a game that should be played on our soil over here. We need this game here because this is an exciting matchup, right? Like this is for, essentially right now, number 1 in the AFC.
I like it though.
It's not bad. It's okay, but it's just like, I'm being an NFL fan. And for the Chief and the story, the Tyreek Hill story, and going at it like, and where these two teams are, obviously, we didn't know that it was going to play out like this. But you just
remember the Mexico
Uh-huh.
City game with the Rams and the Chiefs?
Okay.
It wasn't on our soil. It wasn't on our soil. It was 2019, I think. But
Yeah.
it was like a 100-point game. Like
Yeah, it was a good game.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it was a good game.
It's good to show our product out over there so we can take some of their money and bring it back home.
Absolutely. I mean, you bring this caliber of teams over there, you're definitely going to gain a lot more NFL love, a lot more NFL fandom over there. So
Right.
I get it. I mean, so, shout out to the Germans and everybody else who's over there that's going to have a chance to witness this in person. What an exciting game. Here's an advantage that does not tilt in the Chiefs' favor. Those guys, I believe, are just leaving today to go over to Germany. Miami left Monday. I would love to know the stats. You probably don't have this one on hand, stat man, but you can rustle them papers all you want. But I would love to see what's the win-loss percentage. What does the numbers look like on teams who get out there 5-6 days before compared to teams that get out 2 days before? I mean, they might end up getting there like Friday morning. So I wonder if they're still going to be jet lagged. I remember I did that one time when we played. I mean, I'm not saying it was just me, but I felt like crap. Our team didn't play too well. We were a little bit sluggish when we went to London back in 2017. This is going to be exciting, really, for Miami, because to be the king, you have to beat the king, right? Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, they're king right now. This is a statement game for Miami. What is it? What are all the talking heads on the big networks talking about? The Miami Dolphins can't beat a playoff or a good caliber team. Well, dang on it, this is an opportunity for them to go out there and show what they can be, man. Like, this is not Philly. You're not playing in Philly. This is an opportunity on neutral ground for these guys to go out there and show up and show out. I think Mike McDaniels is going to have something up his sleeve, man. I think this is going to be an exciting game. I also think that the Dolphins' pass rush is going to be the determining factor in this game. They got Patrick Mahomes got hit a little bit, obviously having those turnovers last week. The pass rush will help determine Miami being the best fit in this game. I'm going Dolphins straight up.
I like it. We're on the same page again.
You know what that you know what mean you know what that means.
The band's back together.
We are. We are.
All right. All right. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I don't like it, but I like it.
Mm.
The numbers say to take the Seattle Seahawks this week, and they're playing my Ravens. So my pick here is the Seahawks plus the 5.5.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
You can
The way you're thank you for that. The way you're disrespecting the Baltimore Ravens right now by talking about bigging up the Seattle Seahawks when you have a jersey, when you have a hoodie on.
Let me explain. All right, I'm innocent until proven guilty. This is a letdown spot for the Ravens. They have them every year, right? Everybody thought it was going to be last week against Arizona. They've had a rough schedule, a lot of away games. They are back home now for one of 3 home games in a row before their bye week. Well, who do they have on deck after this? The Browns and the Bengals, which are conference games. So I think this is kind of an overlooked spot. You come home, you get readjusted. You played in the league. You come back home. Wife tells you, you haven't been home for a while. You got to unload the dishwasher. You got to do this. You're not really focused on that first game back.
My wife didn't make me do that. She took care of everything, man. That's why,
Change the diapers, maybe.
I mean, I would do that just off the strength of being a father. But
no.
the good ones are going to take that headache away from you. You got a job to do, so they gonna hold it down. Go ahead, finish.
Shout out to Jess Bushrod.
Absolutely.
So, a slightly overlooked spot here could be, I think they come out flat, but they're going to turn it back around. Now, what you're going to tell me is, Meehan, how can you take a West Coast team coming East Coast at 1 o'clock, right? Everybody knows that team's going to come out sluggish. Is that a myth, though? Because my stats say a West Coast team coming East after a home game is covering the spread at 59%. That's more than 50%. It's not a huge number, but it kind of cracks that myth. So that doesn't scare me at all. I still think the Ravens can win this game. There's going to be a scare. They're going to come back. They're going to lock it up. I just think it's going to be closer than people think. I'm calling this one low scoring, 23-20. Ravens pull it off in the end. But give me Seattle and the 5.5 for the show.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right. Well, since you already took my lock and we went back and forth on that was the Dolphins. Okay. This is this next pick right here, this next game is in tandem with the Atlanta one, right? You got 2 4-4 teams in the NFC South. The Saints finally figured out how to run their offense. Derek Carr stopped screaming at receivers, and he finally got the ball to them, which was awesome to see. I'm hoping that he's turned a corner, right? Because they have a good organization. Pete Carmichael, the OC, maybe he didn't open up the playbook as much in those first few games. Maybe there was some miscommunication, some misunderstanding somewhere. But I'm hoping that this team has turned a corner to go into Indianapolis and have the game that they had last week. I'm not saying they're a good team, but that's what momentum does, right? That's what confidence does. And when you have a little bit of success, you can take that from week to week. They have to stack. You got, just like I tell the kids I coach, let's stack good plays. Let's stack wins, right? And then you just get used to having good plays, and then you get used to winning, right? They have a 3-headed wide receiver monster. I mean, you could pretty much say a 4-headed wide receiver monster if you throw Alvin Kamara in there with all the times that he has caught the ball out the air. I just think that matchup between Thomas, Shaheed, Olave, Kamara, I mean, you can even throw Taysom Hill in there. I think it's going to be an issue for the struggling Bears secondary. This is a team who is literally at the bottom of the league when it comes to points per game and pass defense. So I think they're going to struggle. Bagent, how you pronounce his name? Bagent, whatever it is. Yeah, he had a good first outing last week. He struggled a little bit. He was actually able to accumulate almost 250 yards. So he was able to spread the ball around a little bit. But I think this QB story in Chicago that did, kind of raise some eyebrows and had people excited for a second. He did struggle last week versus the Chargers. I think he's going to struggle again down here in the Superdome in New Orleans because This would be the best defense he faces. I mean, he played the Raiders. The Raiders and the
Chargers.
Chargers. And then now you go play the Saints defense, especially versus the pass. Dude, listen, versus the pass, this team is playing lights out. I believe number 2 in the NFL. Number 2 in the NFL pass defense. You're talking about the New Orleans Saints. The issue, though, for me, like we've got on the show for the last couple of years, and I've talked about how great their run defense is. You know, they went a season and a half, almost 2 seasons without giving up a 100-yard rusher. You know, how many times in the last season, kind of dating back to the end of last year, that they are giving up more than 100 yards. Last week, that two-headed running back duo down in Indianapolis, they gave up 6 yards a carry. I think if the Chicago Bears want a chance in this game to keep it close, to keep them competitive, they're going to have to run the ball. The 8.5 points that the Saints are getting, that scares me. The Saints are going to win this game. By 8.5, it all depends on which Derek Carr shows up. I mean, really, at the end of the day, you know, I'm taking Saints, though. I think this is going to be a game that they come out, they got to build on last week. This up and down, this is not a roller coaster. You can't be up and down. So I'm hoping that they stack, and especially because they're home. So I'm going Saints again.
Favorite team, favorite old team. I like the play. I just think that defense will be too tough. It'll be the best defense he's ever faced in his life. No bashing a D2 defense, but Saints defense is really good.
Yeah, I think they're pretty solid. They've been carrying the team. Really.
Speaking of good defense, my lock of the week, I'm going to a big matchup game. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Divisional rivalry. Smash mouth football. Tons of history here. Where am I going? I'm going with the under. Under 46.5 points. Unders have been hitting at a high rate. I'm sticking with the numbers. But honestly, this is situational too, because I think they're just going to, like I said, they're going to ground it out. Both teams know each other. They know their tendencies. I think early on, no one's going to want to make a mistake. They're going to play kind of vanilla, and you're going to see a lot of run. Eagles are heading into a bye next week. And teams heading into a bye this season are 11-5 straight up. So you look for the Eagles to win this game. But an interesting fact here, teams heading into a bye, the under in those games are also 14-2. So there's more focus, there's more time spent on this one game. Let's win this game. Let's defensively, let's lock up and let's get into our bye and enjoy the time off. So that's a good stat, and I'm going with it. I also think that Dallas has had this game circled all year. So if you're scared of Philly putting up big numbers here, I think you're going to see Dallas do a lot of stuff to keep it low scoring. I think it's going to be in the low 20s. I actually predict this to be Eagles winning 23-17. So Dallas won't even get to 20. 23-17 Eagles. Take the under in this one. Divisional rivalry unders are killing it this year.
What's the under for this one? What's the total?
46.5.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at that at all. I will say this: I was in Philly for the Miami game.
Oh yeah! How was that?
It wasn't as bad. I was like, man, I know I played there a couple of times, so I know how rowdy some of those fans can get. I had my Dolphins hat on. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I was with a guy that had full on Miami Dolphins uniform on, so I'm like, all right, man, like this is what we're doing up here, huh? This is what we're doing up here in Philly. So the fans weren't bad at all. We had a good time. Exciting.
Well, you walked a good 10 feet behind him. Go ahead, man. You go first.
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing, brother. Nah, man. Another good show. I feel great about my picks. I feel great about the Dolphins too. I feel like this is their moment. It's either now or never, dude. It's either now or never, right? Like I feel like this is story time. Story time with Bush. Come on over here and sit down.
Give it to him. This is what the fans want to hear.
Listen, to be the king, you got to beat the king. I remember 2009, that was our Super Bowl season. Monday Night Football. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, the whole crew came down to New Orleans, and all week, Sean is talking about we got to beat this team. You want to be where this team is at? You want the success that they had? You got to go out and you have to defeat them. And right, and what does that do for your team? What is that going to do for the Miami Dolphins team if they go to Germany and they beat them? And not only did we beat them on that Monday night back in 2009, we beat them. We beat that ass. And that right there, it took our confidence level up. We were like, oh, okay, and they were healthy too. Like, this is prime Tom Brady, right? This is prime Belichick, a good Patriots team. And that right there, it elevated us a little bit more. It's all mental, dude. Like, if you believe you can go and do something, you're going to go get it done. And if the Miami Dolphins believe that they can go win a Super Bowl and go deep into the playoffs, you got to slay the giant, brother. Got to slay the giant. It's right now, here and now.
Maybe Sean Payton, for those of you that don't know who he was talking about, maybe Sean gave that speech last week, and that's why they pulled the upset against the King.
And that's why, hey, I'm telling you, and you don't think that their confidence is going up a little bit? I mean, because how low was their confidence after that second week, right? They went to Miami, got that ass stomped.
Yeah.
Not a good feeling, right? But then they come back and do the things that they know how to do, right? Get after the quarterback. That's what it's about, brother. You got to kill the head, the body will fall.
Should be fun. 9:30 in the morning. I'm an early guy, so I love the early games. I love what they're doing.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. That's tough. It'll be 8:30 for me. I'll be in New Orleans, so I might have a little cocktail over an early brunch before I go hit this Superdome. You heard me?
There you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's get it.
All right. Well, let's have a great week, guys. Good luck whatever you play. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week.
Peace.